It's time for the Fan Connection presented by AT&T. Every week we invite you, the listener, to connect with us by submitting your questions. At AT&T, connecting changes everything. And on USLNT, our connections with you will help grow the game. Welcome back to the AT&T Fan Connection. Jordan, thank you for being on the show twice.
And changing that jersey.
But also thank you for changing your shirt to the Outcast.
Mm-hmm.
Stankonia.
25th anniversary shirt that the Mundial did for them getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Forever, ever.
That's cool with the flag on it, too. I like that.
It is very cool.
That's
and I
really
think it says Stankonia on the back, 25.
Stankonia.
Yeah. We have a lot of stuff to cover in this.
Let's do it.
Are you guys ready? So started with a couple of nice comments. I thought you guys would enjoy that. We'll ease in here. The first one is from Carl via email. He said, wow, awesome interview. This is about Don Garber.
Yeah.
Great questions, but bravo to the commissioner for seizing the opportunity. He's always been open, but the guy's encouragement and his engagement was perfect. Thanks for all of it. Not pulling punches and asking for the sausage making details. So good job, guys.
Yeah, Don Garber was incredible. We all loved
that
interview. He's, we've known him for a long time, and obviously the fact that he was so candid and open with us, even he was chilled out, relaxed, and not many. And we talked about it, right, LD. Not many people get to see that side of him. We thankfully have along the years, but it's pretty special to see.
This one's from David via email. This one's a little spicier than the last one. Love the show. Good opening, David. You talk about relegation as an owner and how bad it is. In my opinion, relegation keeps owners honest. Think of all the Cleveland Brown fans or Commanders fans who have bought season tickets year after year watching miserable teams, then have the owner either move the team out of town or sell the team for $9 billion. Give me relegation any day.
That's a fair point. I mean, it is. It absolutely keeps you honest and engaged. It does. It does. I mean, Stan Kroenke, for all he's done with Arsenal, and the Rapids are an afterthought for him. You know, John Fisher in San Jose, it's an afterthought, and they don't have to worry about it. And fair enough, like they ponied up the money in the beginning. They've suffered the losses and all that, but the financial losses, but it keeps you honest. It's a fair point.
But it's not a fair argument because there isn't a sustainable second division of American football.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Look, my arguments will stand until, and I'm happy to be proven wrong. Like I've said to you all along, like relegation and promotion relegation work. In soccer terms, in football terms, they just don't. I don't know if they'll work in America for all the reasons that I said.
You know what's interesting though, Tim, in our interview with talking about Garber, they used to say, I remember this when I was on the executive board for the Players Association. They used to sit in the room and they would say, just so you guys know, there will never be free agency, ever, zero chance, ever. And guess what MLS has now? A version. It's not full free agent, but a version of free agency. And so he was also much more like, well, we'll see what happens.
Sure.
Right? With the schedule change, with how they did that. He said 2 years ago, they would have never thought about a schedule change. So I don't say that it's, I used to say never ever. And now I'm like, we'll see.
Let me not mix my words. Do I believe that we will be talking about a real world where MLS is involved in a promotion relegation system? I do believe that. That's going to happen. Maybe not right now. But my point to you, which I continue to say, because the gentleman who talked about the Cleveland Browns and wasteful ownership, you've been a part of San Diego Loyal. I've been a part of Memphis. I've been in meetings as an owner with my principal owner saying, Tim, I cannot continue to lose $2 million every year. Bleeding money every year, right? Yeah. So what I'm saying to you is, what are you into MLS right now? You and I want to buy a team. You're into MLS. You're like $750 million in. You and I are going to want to sit at the table with MLS and go, where are my guarantees? We're going to pony up $1 billion here. Me and Landon, we're making a new team. We're going to be in Iowa City, right? But if we go down, what happens to our asset? Tell me. And I'm saying that's going to scare the shit out of people. What's
Did
going to
you
happen?
just say Iowa City?
Yeah, it's on the expansion list. You and I are going to be the owners.
It's on the expansion list.
But but my point is the same. We're going to ask. We're going to be $1 billion in here, guys. So if we get relegated to the next tier, right? I'll have to reshape it. It won't be USL. It'll be a new tier. What happens to my asset?
Mm-hmm. No, I know nobody will ever do it.
So
No,
when I say I don't,
I get it.
All right, that's all I'm saying.
Okay, how about some actual questions?
Yeah.
Okay, this first one is from Paul via email. I was wondering how you think we should rate and compare older legends of the game to modern world-class players. It seems like attacking players are more protected from physicality than they used to. And there are much less players who have another job on the side, meaning that they can practice more. Simply put, how would Pelé, Cruyff, and Yashin do in today's game? And how would Di Maria, Rooney, and Varane do in the 60s, 70s, or 80s? Would they all still be world class?
Interesting choices there. Go ahead. It's a great question.
It's a good question.
I'm thinking about it as we saw him.
I tend to think. Let me say this to you, and it's a disrespect to the older generations. I use the NBA as a really good benchmark for this argument, and I'm like, no one is touching like SGA, LeBron, Jordan, Joker. No one's touching those guys. So they had some ballers in the 60s. Ballers. I'm looking at and I'm thinking, if you put full court pressure on some of the best guards in the 60s, I don't even know if they get the ball over half court. Like, that's how good and athletic guys are right now. And I think the same thing with soccer. Like, Maradona is the one for me that I just think you could put him on the pitch right now, and he was just that special and that nasty. Probably Cruyff as well. But I think time moves forward. This, Landon, like the sports science moves forward. Guys just simply get bigger, stronger, and nastier. Like they do physically. Analytics move forward. So yeah, I think you have to grade it on a scale, but ultimately the newest generation is probably the best.
It's an athletic question, right? It's about athleticism. But the question then, Tim, is devil's advocate. If Larry Bird was born in 2000, would he be Luka or Doncic, or maybe Larry Bird's maybe John Stockton? Would John Stockton be SGA, or and everything would have gotten better.
Yep.
Genetics get better, right? Like there's just more elite athletes playing. So it's just an athletic question. Like, could those guys play from a mentality and all? Sure. Yeah, in some ways they're better than the kids now. Yeah. But just athletically, I don't know how you I don't know how you could compete.
I think to answer the question is it's impossible to do those rankings. I think you have to be what Landon just said. You have to be open-minded. You can't just be like, no, LeBron's the best, and then be done with it. You have to kind of say, yeah, like, what if, what if Shaquille O'Neal, big men shoot right now? Imagine, and by the way, big men who can't shoot have been taught to shoot, right? Because they've extended it. I'm talking basketball here. So imagine Shaquille O'Neal, the most dominant human being on the planet, was told by his coach, I want you to extend the floor. I want you to just take threes. And oh, by the way, when lane opens up, you can go break backboards. That would have been someone who was superhuman. So I take your point. I think you have to look at the argument and try and be open-minded and balanced.
And last thing, when I was with San Diego Loyal, my head coach, Nate Miller, who then went to Salt Lake as an assistant, when we would talk and I would say, what are the differences between USL players? And he said, honestly, a lot of the USL players, technically, their understanding of the game is very similar. But he said, athletically, the MLS player is miles ahead. Like, they can play 3 games in a week, no problem. And they recover faster.
Sure.
And they cover more distance. And he's just said, athletically, it's a whole different game.
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
I also think it's an interesting comparison because I think if you pull any of those older guys out and put them into the current day, you would change the face of soccer forever. Because if Johan Cruyff wasn't Pep Guardiola's mentor, football would look insanely different as a sport now, right? So
that's a good point.
That's also part of it too, is it's not just their athleticism, but their mind for the game was important to happen at the time that it did.
Well, in some ways they were far ahead. Like Beckenbauer and Lothar Matthäus, like the way they could play, and
Mm-hmm.
they could play anywhere on the field, literally anywhere on the field.
Christos Stoichkov could definitely
Stoichkov.
play in my team today.
Yeah. Those guys were
1,000%.
good. Yeah.
Okay, here's a question from Madison via email. She asks, my question is a complete hypothetical. If a genie granted you 3 wishes, what 3 things would you implement today to improve or grow soccer in America?
What a great question.
Good question. What 3 things? I don't know if I have 3.
Okay. Number 1 is both on the men's and women's side, I would do away with salary caps.
Yep.
And just and I know there would be casualties from it. Some clubs would go away because of it, because they'd spend into oblivion. That'd be one, because then you can really attract the best players from around the world and you'll get them here. That's 1. 2 would be a coming together of all the youth entities in the country to do what's best for men's and women's soccer as a whole. That would be number 2. And put like their own ego and their own fiefdoms to the side and do what's best. That's my 2 so far. Tim?
Salary cap's 1 for sure. I would create a sustainable promotion relegation system by unifying all of the leagues. How do you unify all the leagues? Maybe you buy out one of the leagues and you overpay for it. I don't know. I don't have that answer, but I would unify all the leagues to create a football league, a football tiered system.
I totally love that Tim has been such an ardent arguer against promotion and relegation.
That's
and
one of his wishes.
Yeah. And I'm not
works.
I'm not trying to
It
take
works.
the piss
No,
or
no.
anything. I
No,
think
I
it's that's a great idea.
It works.
Because that you're solving the problem that you identify as
Totally.
being the biggest reason not
Totally.
to do it. Yeah.
JR, do you have any?
I mean, the salary cap thing, I think, is the big one, and just like a complete overhaul of youth soccer in the US. I mean, how do you not start at the bottom? And that's the bottom, right? Like, how do you not solve for the problem of creating the next generation of great American soccer players if you're going to overhaul it from the beginning?
I also think it's a really good point. I think you need to, just going to say, we're being hypothetical. I think you need to create governing bodies, right? So we have Region 1, Region 2. What are you guys out in Cali? Region 4. But I think you need to create like a really staunch governing body for all these people. Because I talked to people at US Soccer and I just basically said, look, you can get all the ECNL coaches together, but the guy down in Florida who runs an ECNL team and the guy in California, they're going to go, yeah, whatever, man. I make $200K a year. Don't tell me what to do. And that's really what happens right now.
Yep.
So there has to be some sort of system. I agree with that. I also think from the game, I think timeouts. I know that sounds so American and crazy. I just teams try and do so. Teams try and do it right. So there's value in it. So teams will basically say, and we know there's teams in the Premier League who do this. Every time in the 65th minute, someone's I got a niggle here. I need some water. The whole team goes over right to the manager, and he does a little chalk talk. So there is value in it. Because I just think it's so difficult. Like Pep Guardiola can do it, and to be a manager, you have to learn how to do it. But a 1 minute timeout every half, I think would be okay.
You're gonna get it in the World Cup with the water breaks.
Is that right? Yeah.
It's gonna be automatic. I know what Adam Crofton from The Athletic wants. He wants lower ticket prices for the World Cup.
He's
That's
going
his
to come
one
to us
wish.
and be like, what was
great.
with
Adam,
Landon's giving me
bring-
so much
bring
shit?
Adam,
Landon
give
the
it a
heat.
rest, pal.
Adam, give Landon all the heat.
He's gonna write an article about me just hammering me.
Landon, you actually mentioned something that I have a question for you about. This one is from Eddie via email. It was recently announced that there will be 3-minute mandatory breaks, 22 minutes into each half of the 2026 World Cup games. Given that these apply to air-conditioned stadiums and refs already have the authority to stop the match for water breaks, it's hard to accept that this is for anything but selling lucrative ad space. How will this change the way the game is played? If a team is gunning for a goal, will they abruptly have to stop for these commercials? Will tactics have to revolve around these breaks? Do you see anything positive in this?
Well, I'm going to avoid that question for a sec and just say my bigger thing is I wonder if this, like, remember when we went from 3 subs to 5 subs?
Yeah.
I wonder if this tournament will just make it, like you're saying, Tim, where automatically there's just a timeout halfway through each half.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be interesting. I don't
Yeah.
know. Is there any value in it? There is for the players. Relax and by the way, who cares if they sell more ads? Like, it's like I don't care. Like, let people make money and do what they need to do, and maybe that'll help bring tickets down. I don't know.
Here's what I would say: is it 2 3-minute breaks?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let me say this. That seems a bit long.
Yeah.
And here's why. I'm a sports fan. I'm always amazed when I watch a boxer go 12 rounds and I'm like, yo, he only gets a minute on the stool in between rounds. Like, give that man some more time. I'm not sure. When the ball is in play per 45 minutes, when the ball is in play 22 minutes, I'm not sure you need a 3-minute break in there.
They could do a minute and a half easy.
Yeah. Get water for sure. Get water. But like, you don't need 3 minutes.
Yeah,
anyway.
Agreed.
Well, who was it? Was it Dortmund that went inside?
Yeah, Dortmund.
Germany might need 3 minutes, 4 or 5 minutes. They might need, but the rest of the world doesn't.
Okay, here's a question from Katie via email. Katie asks, in the interview with Commissioner Garber, there was a lot of talk about the quote unquote northern teams feeling negatively towards a calendar shift due to weather. I don't know if Portland is considered a northern team, but we're definitely an area where the summer weather and winter weather are pretty drastically different. As a Timbers Army faithful, I love the rainy games, and I think it provides a significant boost to our already impressive home field advantage.
Yeah.
Our boys train in the rain day in and out, and so they are comfortable, and some away teams really struggle in the rainy weather. Plus, it's honestly a ton of fun cheering and chanting in the rain. Do Tim and Landon think that this calendar shift might provide a bit of a hometown boost to us teams above the 45th parallel?
Absolutely. If I'm Minnesota and Toronto and Montreal and Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, and whoever else, I'm like, Chicago, I'm like, great. Let's use this to our advantage. Colorado does it with the altitude, and Houston does it at 2:00 games. And yeah, absolutely. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. Shout out to Timbers Army. They're awesome place to play. Incredible place.
Love playing there.
Yeah. I mean, I think what Don Garber didn't say, but he didn't need to say was like, they're not under any illusions. Like, they know there's going to have to be strict rules and contingencies put in for the northern teams for inclement weather, right? Like, and that will happen, right? It's not Mickey Mouse. The way that MLS runs their ship, it's gonna be tight, and they're gonna figure it out, right? So the first time there's a snowstorm in New York, they're gonna deal with it. Yeah, I would say that when you look at, well, I guess the NFL is the only real comparison, right? Because baseball, you have rainouts and all that, but like football, there's nobody wants to go to Green Bay and play, right? Like, that's a huge thing. Like Miami Dolphins, there's some crazy record where they can't win. They can't win over I don't know, some crazy degree. So yeah, I think that's great. I think it's great. I'm on board with that, and I'm
here for it.
I do agree with Landon. I think every sort of microclimate in the U.S. has its own advantage, and it's for that team to take full advantage of it from a competition standpoint.
Okay, you guys know that one of my favorite things is when people write in to the podcast to suggest changes to be made to the game. So I'm calling this new rule. Okay.
New rule.
Okay. Yes. So this is the new rule part of the Fan Connection segment. So this one's from Ian via email. And Ian says, I hate tactical fouls. It's unfair that you can basically rugby tackle someone to stop a counterattack, and all you get is a yellow card, a slap on the wrist. It's one free cheat per game. What do you think?
Tell me it's a sin bin. I love sin bin.
What do you think of adding a penalty box like in hockey and rugby, where yellow card offenses mean your team goes down a player for 10 minutes? If there was a direct consequence like this, players would not do it as much, so you'd see fewer bad fouls and quote-unquote dark arts, and more attacks allowed to play out without disruption to the flow of the game, meaning more goals. IFAB floated this kind of idea with the blue card, but that never took off.
So, okay, I got a lot to say about this.
I had a feeling.
So, when I played indoor, It's a real thing. When you go 5v5 to 5v4, huge deal. Same with hockey.
You've had such a strange career for being the best
Don't-
U.S. soccer
dude,
player in history.
Don't get me started.
Jeez, I forgot you played indoor.
I know. So I love it. In theory, I love this idea. I'm thinking about the practicality, and the reality is for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever the person's out, it will be such an ugly game because one team will just put 10 people behind the ball and just not give anything. And it'll make the game boring for those few minutes. That's what I think practically would happen. But I don't hate it. I honestly don't hate it.
I don't. It's funny that you said it earlier. I don't hate it either. The problem is if you get a game where it becomes chippy, and then maybe it becomes less chippy if you put these rules in, but like ultimately as human beings, you then might get a game where you have like bulk of the game just played with teams, as you said. Like what you don't understand is like hockey's different, right? Like hockey's different because the proximity and the size of the net and the rink. In soccer, and Landon knows, we do this. We train attack v defense.
Totally.
And you're like, okay, look, you're down a man, and we've got to see the game out. Every team trains that. Dude, you could be out there all day, bunkering your 18-yard box, and you're not going to score. So then it's like, this is boring, and like it's not. I just don't think you can add it to the game of soccer, but I don't hate it.
Do you think it would result in more yellow cards?
Well, Ian was saying only for tactical fouls. So if it was every yellow, then it'd be interesting. Right?
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, I think maybe Tim, you and I were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, that like you have to be trusting of the referees to be making decisions based on the benefit of the game, right? Because they're not trying to bring the game to a grinding halt. So my question then is, if this is, whether it's for every yellow or for just tactical fouls, do you think they would be giving more cards? Or like, if what you're saying is true, does that then result in less yellow cards being given?
I think it'd be less because they know how, like, yeah, I think it would be less because they don't want, it's such a punishment.
I don't know what I'm going to say something, and we're going to figure it out afterwards because I haven't quite filtered it through my brain yet.
Well, we are unfiltered. So
would you say it's unfiltered right now?
It is. Wow. Here's the thing. I'm sort of thinking about this show, and we're giving this some genuine thought here, and Americans get a bad rap. And I just sort of wonder, like, around the world, is there any podcast or radio show where people talk about rule changes in soccer? This feels very American.
No chance.
With no disrespect to anybody. This feels very...
You think in Brazil right now they're
because in the rest of the world they're like, don't change the game. Stop changing things. Don't change things.
So why do we need to change it?
Well, because I mean, I'm not gonna. There's plenty of other questions, and we will answer them on future episodes of the show. But like, people love to write in and say some variation on, what do you think we need to do to change soccer in order to make Americans more excited about soccer? And the rest of the world's answer would be like, either you like it or you don't. So we're not changing the game in order to bring you in.
What I would say is we're on the cusp of 2026, and depending on how old you are, I kind of feel like that question has been asked since like what 80, 84 maybe? Like, we've been asking that question a long time. I have a feeling we're going to be asking it in like 2070.
You know what? At the end of the day, the soccer viewership in this country has been on the rise that whole time, the last 40 years. So I don't think we need to add blue cards or penalty boxes or do any of that stuff. That's just my opinion.
True.
But what do I know? All right. This was fun.
Thanks, JR.
This was great.
Thank you, guys. See you guys in 2026.
Oh, yes. See you next year.
Yeah.